Good afternoon. This is Gary Maurer, and I've got a special guest with me today. This is Mike Leventry. Mike owns Verdant Plant Healthcare outside of Wilmington, Delaware. And he just bought a brand new piece of equipment. And I asked Mike to share a little bit with us today about his thinking, the background, the research that he did into deciding what to buy and why he bought this and so forth. So, Mike, it's really great to have you with us.
Great.
And I want to thank you for buying this piece of equipment. I wanted to give you your very own operations manual. You'll find this has about 100 pages of all kinds of stuff that'll put you to sleep at night.
Oh, great.
But some of it's important. So anyway, so Mike, you started thinking about this purchase how long ago?
From the time I started, actually. So
Really?
when I started the business about 5 years ago, on a shoestring budget, just like every new business, the spray rig that I started with was trailer mounted, and that got me by it. But as the business grew, the capacity on the trailer wasn't enough, and honestly, probably as everybody knows, finagling a trailer into tight places is a pain in the neck. And
Particularly if you have employees.
particularly if you have employees. I don't trust anybody to drive a trailer but myself. So, as the business grew and we needed capacity, trailers were not going to be the right piece of equipment. I wanted something that had the capacity to carry enough liquid for a day, but also on a platform that was small enough to get into windy driveways and get good access. So the Sprinter had the capacity to do all that. I looked at a couple of different companies that said that they could do sprayer builds, and honestly, GreenPro was the only one that had one that looked like they really knew what they were doing with it, that looked like a finished piece of equipment that was well thought out and well laid out. So yeah, I'm excited to get it back to the shop and get it to work.
Okay. So how long have you known about GreenPro? This goes back a few years, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I've known about you guys for a long time, even before I started the business.
Okay.
It's just when I was starting out, like I said, shoestring budget.
Right.
And
Right.
now I've upgraded in quality and ability.
Right. So the Sprinter, you wanted something enclosed, I guess.
Absolutely.
You wanted to have a different image in the marketplace,
Abs-
which obviously this gives you a different image.
Absolutely. I do mostly high-end residential.
Okay.
And, frankly, having a Mercedes-Benz parked outside of a customer's house is a really good look for the neighborhoods that I work in. So that definitely played into the decision. But, more so than that was the maneuverability and the overall size of the vehicle. I think that in the plant healthcare industry, the days of the 1,000 or 1,500 gallon spray truck are coming to a close. Canopy sprays, while they still have their place and they're still a tool in our toolbox, are becoming the exception rather than the rule. So, needing to go out with large volumes of water because you're going to be doing canopy sprays all day is less of what this truck needs to do.
Right.
So therefore, we could go smaller. We could go with slightly less capacity, more maneuverability, operator comfort. A Sprinter is a great vehicle to drive, way better than any cab over on the market from
Not
from
any
operator
different
campers.
than your pickup truck.
Right?
hardly.
Yeah, it feels like driving a pickup. So that all those things went into the
And
decision.
it's really, I've driven these more than 4,000 miles so far, different ones, delivering them and so forth. But it's extraordinarily comfortable to drive.
Absolutely is. And it has great features, not to be a Mercedes ad, but it has features like blind spot sensors, Bluetooth
Keep you
standards, so
Camera
all
on the back.
camera on the back, so anything to reduce the likelihood of backing into a mailbox or getting into an accident as we're going down the road is all really important things.
Right. Now, you ordered this, and obviously anybody in your situation, they're ordering a pretty expensive piece of equipment.
Absolutely.
You're trusting upon the company you've chosen to deliver the product that you were hoping to get. How did we do at meeting your expectations initially? When you opened these doors, what was your first impression?
Was the first impression. It was exactly what I wanted. There was a lot of back and forth between you and I about the overall layout. This isn't the standard GreenPro Sprinter.
We
We
changed it a little
customized it a little bit, both in the back and in the middle of the truck. But there was great communication as we went through the process, so that this was exactly what I wanted when I got here to pick it up.
Okay. Well, we're excited to hear that. And
Yeah.
we trust that it will perform at least as well as your initial wow response when you open these
sure
doors.
it will. And I can't wait to get out there and use it.
I'm excited for you. Yes, we put a hose reel in the back for you on this particular unit. That's the first time we've done that. Usually the hose reel goes out the side. You want to have that flexibility. We have you're going to have a backpack in here for doing your bark sprays. You do a lot of soil applications. So there's a bunch of different things. As you know, you can have that hose that connects to the hand wash tank up there. Will come all the way out the back of the tank. Out the back of the truck. So you can fill your backpacks and wash equipment and so forth without, out here rather than in there.
That is huge, because on the current setup that I have, if I need to fill a backpack, I'm having to run the pump. So that's extra noise, extra reverberations in my skull, but also, there are lots of properties that we go to where we don't necessarily need to be running the pump and disturbing the homeowner. So if I can do that quietly with a gravity feed like that, that's going to be wonderful. I'm super happy.
And that transfer pump, 45 gallons a minute, that electric transfer pump, you can be ready to spray out of these 56-gallon tanks in 2 minutes. So efficiency is really critical. That's how you make money doing this.
Absolutely. I have figured that between the transfer time on the tanks and the not having to maneuver a trailer into place, it's probably going to save me 3 to 4 days a year in just time that I spend having to back a trailer in places.
It'll save you at least a day a month.
I don't doubt it. I was on a property the other day with the trailer, and it took me a good 7 or 8 minutes of forward and back maneuvering to get it where it needed to be. And I kept thinking to myself,
you're always tying up traffic. You're worried about somebody hitting you or whatever.
There are properties that jobs I've had to turn down because I couldn't get access with the trailer, that with the Sprinter I'm going to be able to. So I'm super excited about it.
Without disclosing your financial obligations for this particular unit, we've started talking to people about how many days of work it would take with this unit to make the monthly payments for buying, everything here. And we're saying that probably within 1.5, maybe at the most 2 days a month, the income that this unit produces will more than make the monthly payments on this.
I would fully agree with that. Yeah, based on my payments for this unit and what my daily intake is, 1.5 to 2 days maximum, depending on the day. Some day, on some months we might be a half a day.
It might
make the payment.
Now, and we just talked about, you touched on something else. You're going to be able to do properties you've not been able to take on before. You'll probably cut down at least 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day, just maneuvering, being able to get to a property and be able to start right away and so forth. So that adds up.
Absolutely.
It's quite possible that the efficiency, and I guess this is a question for you. Do you think the additional efficiency and the productivity out of this unit are your expectations that the increases that you generate from efficiency and being able to do some kind of things faster and better will actually make you enough additional money to make the monthly payments?
I haven't crunched the numbers, but I would assume, I think that's definitely going to play into it. Whereas on a good day with a trailer, maybe a dozen properties. If by using the Sprinter, I can get 15 in. That's going to add up. And I think that's definitely going to contribute to.
You're going to have to go out and sell some more businesses
I
to keep this truck busy.
I absolutely do. And when I do, I'll be back to buy a second one.
All right. Well, Mike, is there anything else you'd like to share as we wrap up today? We're going to touch base in the future when you've had this out on the road a few months and get some real feedback about how it's working out for you.
The only thing that you kind of touched on that I wanted to mention was the reasoning behind, the thinking behind the rear hose reel. You said on a standard Green Pro Sprinter, the hose reel's out of the sliding door on the passenger side, which is a great setup because usually that's curbside.
Right.
In a lot of the properties that I'm doing, one-way streets, long winding driveways on estates, the plant material that needs to be treated ends up being on the driver's side. And trying to drag hose out of the sliding door and around the truck, and if anybody's ever done that, it always gets hung up under the back tire, where inevitably, I always say, if there's something for a hose to snag on, it will find that thing to snag on. So having the hose reel...
Well, we have this special feature up here too, right? So if you open the door all the way, and we just jump up here, pull this pin out on both sides, this roll comes sliding right out here, so you can take your hose either direction out of the back of this truck, and you're not going to be damaging the hose or your brand new vehicle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that was a huge feature, and I think it's gonna just make my life so much easier.
All right, Mike, we'll be in touch in a couple months.
All right.
Let me know how it's going for you. We hope to meet all of your expectations and more.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Gary.
you, sir.